Take a breath. You're alive, and that alone is a gift. Before the world speaks, let the voice within you grow stronger. This is your reminder to walk with wisdom, courage, and peace. You wake up each morning and step into a world that's unpredictable. You don't know if the day will bring sunshine or storms. You don't know if the people you meet will lift you up or try to bring you down. The truth is, most of what happens in this world is outside of your control. And yet, you suffer not because of what happens, but because of your refusal to let go of what you never had power over in the first place. This is the first truth of Stoicism. You are not in control of everything, but you are in control of something yourself. Your thoughts, your choices, your values, your actions. These belong to you and no one else. When you try to control what lies beyond that, the opinions of others, the outcome of events, the timing of life, you give your peace away. Imagine a man standing in the rain, yelling at the clouds to stop pouring. That's what most of us do, daily. We try to fight the uncontrollable. We get angry at traffic. We panic when plans change. We obsess over how we're perceived, and we suffer when life doesn't go according to the script we wrote in our minds. But what if we let that go? What if we took a deep breath and accepted that the rain will fall when it falls, and our job is simply to carry an umbrella? You are not powerless, far from it. You are incredibly powerful, but only when you direct that power inward. Control your response. Control your effort. Control your attitude in the face of adversity. That's where your freedom lives. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher who was once a slave, taught that even if someone binds your limbs, they cannot chain your mind unless you allow them to. You are always free inside. Letting go is not weakness, it's strength. It's not indifference, it's wisdom. Letting go means you're wise enough to know the boundary between the external and the internal, between fate and choice. You can't stop a storm, but you can learn to sail through it. You can't prevent loss, but you can choose to find meaning in the pain. You can't guarantee success, but you can always give your best. So next time life hits you with something unexpected, don't ask, why is this happening to me? Ask, what can I do with this? Shift the focus. Reclaim your power. The situation is what it is now. How will you respond? That's the Stoic question. That's the source of your peace. Look around. People waste their lives trying to control everything. They live in fear, anxiety, and frustration, not because life is cruel, but because they refuse to let go. You don't have to live like that. You can take your hands off the wheel where they don't belong and place them firmly on what you can guide: your discipline, your mindset, your heart. That is where the battle is won. When you start to live like this, you begin to feel something strange: peace. Not because everything is perfect, but because your soul is no longer at war with what it cannot change. You're not tossed around by every emotion or circumstance. You become still, like deep water, calm on the surface, strong underneath. So walk through life light. Carry only what's yours to carry. Let the rest pass like wind. Control what you can. Let go of what you can't. That's not just Stoicism. That's freedom. And when you live this way, day after day, you don't just survive, you thrive. There are moments in life when the weight feels unbearable. Days when doubt creeps in, whispering that you're not enough. When failure stings, when you're tired of being strong, tired of pretending everything's okay. And yet, here you are, breathing, standing, reading these words. That alone is proof you are stronger than you feel. Strength is not loud. It doesn't always look like victory or confidence. Sometimes it looks like showing up with trembling hands. Sometimes it's choosing not to give up when no one would blame you if you did. Real strength is quiet. It lives in the decisions you make when no one's watching. It lives in persistence, in endurance, in the choice to keep going. Feelings are not facts. Emotions are like the weather, they come and go. Some days you'll feel weak. You'll feel small. But your feelings are not always the truth. The Stoics taught us that the mind is power over emotion, that you don't have to obey every feeling that visits you. You can acknowledge it and still act with courage. And that is strength to keep your head clear when the heart is heavy. Think about everything you've already survived. The heartbreak, the loss, the failure, the nights you thought would break you. And yet you're still here. Maybe scarred, maybe tired, but alive. That's resilience. That's quiet power. We often underestimate ourselves because we measure strength by ease. But the truth is, strength is forged in struggle. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. You don't become strong by avoiding pain. You become strong by walking through it, learning from it, and rising again." Pain has shaped you. It has refined you. Every challenge has left behind something, a lesson, a muscle, a deeper understanding of yourself. The modern world tells you that you need motivation, inspiration, a perfect mindset to move forward. The Stoics would disagree. You don't need to feel like doing the right thing, you just need to do it. Discipline over mood. Action over emotion. You are not your fear, and you are not your exhaustion. You are the will behind it. And that will is stronger than you know. On days when everything feels heavy, remember this: storms don't last. Emotions pass. But the way you respond, that stays. That defines you. The strongest people in the world aren't the ones who look like stone. They're the ones who keep moving forward, inch by inch, without applause, without recognition, simply because they refuse to break. Even a single step forward on your hardest day is proof of immense strength. So don't dismiss your effort just because it doesn't look like progress to someone else. You are climbing your own mountain. You are fighting battles no one sees. And still you rise. Still, you breathe. Still, you try. That is strength. That is power. If your mind tells you that you're not strong enough, challenge it. Question it. Speak to it as a Stoic would. Is this thought helping me? Is it true? And if it isn't, let it go. Replace it with something better. I am still standing. I am still trying. That is enough. You don't need permission to believe in yourself. You don't need evidence from the outside world. The proof is in your persistence. The proof is in your endurance. You are stronger than you feel, always have been, always will be. And when you forget, come back to this. You've made it through every hard moment in your life so far. That means you're undefeated. Let that truth carry you. Let that remind you your strength is not in how you feel, but in what you do. Especially when it's hard. Comfort is a seductive trap. It whispers promises of ease, of rest, of safety. But slowly, almost without noticing, comfort weakens the spirit. It makes us soft. It dulls our edge. What once was a luxury becomes a dependency. What once was a treat becomes a need. And when life inevitably becomes hard, as it always does, we find ourselves unprepared, fragile, and afraid. That is why the Stoics taught a different way. A harder way. A truer way. The path of voluntary discomfort. To practice voluntary discomfort is to train for life while life is still kind. It is to take the cold shower not because you must, but because you choose to. To wake up early while the world still sleeps. To deny yourself small pleasures, not out of punishment, but out of principle. Because when you do hard things by choice, life's involuntary hardships no longer own you. You've already tasted discomfort on your own terms. Seneca, one of the great Stoics, once said, "Set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, 'Is this the condition I feared?'" He understood what most people ignore, that fear loses its grip when you face it head on. When you eat simply, sleep on the floor, or go without certain conveniences, you're not suffering. You're strengthening. You're proving to yourself that you don't need as much as you think you do. In our modern world, discomfort is almost entirely avoidable. Food is delivered. Heat is instant. Entertainment is endless. But this has created a generation that panics at the slightest inconvenience. We mistake inconvenience for suffering. But the Stoic walks differently. The Stoic embraces moments of difficulty. because he knows they are a forge shaping discipline, character, and resilience. Voluntary discomfort is not about self-harm. It's not about living in misery. It's about sharpening the mind by resisting the temptation of ease. It's about creating a space between need and want. When you learn to say no to what you want right now, you gain power over yourself. You become the master of your impulses, not their servant. And this practice pays off not just when things go wrong, but every single day. It rewires the way you see challenges. It reframes suffering as a teacher, not a punishment. When you've already faced difficulty in controlled doses, the unexpected no longer rattles you. You're calm in chaos, grounded in uncertainty. That's what Stoic training creates, an unshakable core. There's a hidden freedom in discomfort. When you realize that you don't need comfort to function, you become free. You're no longer at the mercy of conditions. You're no longer trapped by cravings. You move through life with a quiet confidence, knowing that you can endure more than most. And that endurance is not just physical, it's mental, emotional, spiritual. So practice now. Fast for a day. Turn off the devices. Walk instead of drive. Delay gratification. Say no when you'd usually say yes. Let these small acts of discipline add up, stack over time, and harden your will. Because one day life will test you without warning. And when that day comes, you won't need to panic. You'll be ready. You will have walked through the fire already, not because you had to, but because you chose to. And that choice, that mindset is power. It is preparation. It is freedom. Comfort will never make you strong, but discomfort practiced willingly, embraced wisely, will build a strength the world cannot take from you. When life becomes heavy, it's natural to want relief. We whisper silent prayers for a break, a shortcut, an easier path. We dream of days without stress, without obstacles, without conflict. But the Stoic knows that this wish, the wish for an easier life, is the wrong kind of wish. It is a wish rooted in avoidance, not in growth. And avoidance is the soil where weakness grows. Instead, the wise person wishes for strength. The disciplined man does not ask for the storm to pass, he asks for the courage to walk through it. Because life by its very nature is difficult. It's uncertain. It will test you in ways you didn't expect. At times you aren't ready. That is not a flaw in the design. That is the design. Life is not meant to be easy. It is meant to shape you. When you ask for life to be easier, you're really asking for less responsibility, less resistance, less challenge, but you're also asking for less growth, less wisdom, less strength. Because it is the weight that makes the muscle grow. It is the pressure that turns coal into diamond. It is the fire that purifies the gold. Ease does not create greatness, adversity does. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, faced war, plague, betrayal, and loss, yet he never complained. He never wished for the world to be softer. Instead, he turned inward and reminded himself, if it is endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining. He understood that the only thing you truly control is how you show up, not what the world throws at you. Every challenge is an invitation. Every obstacle is a question life asks you. Will you rise or retreat? Will you become bitter or better? Will you resist the pain or transform through it? Wishing for things to be easier means you expect the world to change for you. But wishing to be better, that means you're willing to change for the world. This shift in mindset is powerful. It rewrites how you experience struggle. Instead of seeing hard times as punishment, you begin to see them as training. Life becomes your teacher. Every difficult moment becomes a lesson in resilience, patience, courage, and clarity. You stop fighting the weight and you start lifting it. And here's the secret. The stronger you become, the less you fear difficulty. When you trust in your ability to endure, hardship loses its sting. You become the calm in the storm, not because the storm is smaller, but because you are greater. This is the Stoic way, not to bend the world to your comfort, but to become unshakable in a world that does not care about your comfort. There is nothing noble in escaping struggle, but there is deep honor in facing it and looking life in the eye and saying, do what you will. I will not break. That kind of strength cannot be given. It must be earned, and it is earned in the fire of reality. So don't shrink from what's hard. Don't waste time wishing for ease. Wish to be wiser, calmer, stronger. Wish for the discipline to stay steady when everything else falls apart. Wish for the strength to carry the burden with grace. Because when you wish to be better, life no longer needs to be easy. You rise to meet it, just as it is. And in that rise, you become something more than comfortable. You become capable. You become grounded. You become free. You will die. Not someday far away, not in some abstract, poetic sense, but truly. You, like every soul before you, will come to your final breath. And when that moment arrives, none of your distractions, none of your possessions, none of your worries will matter. All that will remain is who you became, how you lived, and what you left behind. This truth is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to awaken you, to bring your attention back to the present, where life actually happens. Memento Mori, remember, you will die, is not a message of despair. It is a call to live, a reminder that each day is not guaranteed, that every sunrise you witness is a gift, and every heartbeat a chance to begin again. The Stoics did not shy away from death. They meditated on it. They spoke of it often, because they understood something we often forget, that when you keep death in view, life becomes sharper. Priorities become clear. Trivial things fall away. The opinions of others lose their power. Regret begins to die, and gratitude starts to grow. We live as though we have endless time. We say later as if it's a promise carved in stone. But later is a lie. Tomorrow is not promised, and yet we treat this day, this one irreplaceable day, as if it were disposable. We scroll. We complain. We wait for the right moment. Meanwhile, time slips through our fingers like sand. But when you remember that death walks beside you, you stop sleepwalking through life. You start paying attention. You speak more truth. You love more openly. You forgive more quickly. You stop chasing what doesn't matter and start honoring what does: purpose, virtue, character, presence. Seneca wrote, "Let us prepare our minds as if we had come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing." The Stoic does not fear death because he prepares for it every day, not by obsessing over it, but by living in alignment with what truly matters. When your actions reflect your values, when you've said what you need to say and done what you needed to do, death has no sting. Memento Mori is a mirror. It shows you what you've been avoiding. That conversation you've delayed, that dream you've buried, that apology you haven't made. It asks you, if today were your last, would you be proud of how you lived? Would you be content with how you showed up to your work, your relationships, your soul? Death is not the enemy. Wasting life is, because the tragedy is not that life ends, it's that we wait too long to begin it. We let fear stop us. We let comfort trap us. We let distractions numb us. And one day we look up and it's over. All the while, death waited patiently, whispering, "Any moment now. You are not guaranteed another chance." That should not paralyze you, it should set you free. Because if this could be your last sunrise, then you have every reason to truly see it. If this could be your last conversation, then make it honest. If this could be your last breath, then let it be full of meaning, not regret. Memento Mori is not about dying. It's about choosing to live fully, urgently, fearlessly. It is the compass that reminds you time is your most precious currency. Spend it well. You don't get a refund. So remember, you will die. And because of that, today matters more than ever. Make it count. You had a plan, a clear path. You thought things would go one way, maybe smoothly, maybe with a few bumps, but certainly forward. Then something happened, something unexpected. A setback, a failure, a closed door. And now you find yourself staring at a wall where there was supposed to be a road. This is the moment most people stop. They retreat. They complain. They ask, why me? They label the obstacle as misfortune, bad luck, or unfairness. But the Stoic does not. The Stoic sees things differently. The Stoic stands before that wall and says, "This is not the end. This is the way." Because life doesn't move in straight lines. It moves in resistance, friction, pressure. That's how nature works. Trees grow stronger against the wind, muscles grow through strain, character grows through challenge. You do not become wise, courageous, or resilient by avoiding problems. You become those things by going through them. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." The obstacle is not something outside of the path. It is the path. It's the part of the journey where you grow, where you shed who you were and become who you need to be. Whatever you're facing right now, whether it's pain, loss, uncertainty, failure, it is here to serve you, not stop you. That does not mean it's easy. It doesn't mean you have to like it. But it does mean you have to face it. Not just endure it, but use it. Mine it for wisdom. Let it carve strength into your soul. Every challenge holds a gift, a lesson, a new path, a deeper understanding of yourself. But you only unlock that gift if you lean in, not back. If you ask, "What is this here to teach me?" instead of "Why is this happening to me?" The obstacle will ask you to stretch beyond your current limits. It will demand patience when you want speed, courage when you feel fear, focus when you feel scattered. That's the point. It's there to show you what you're made of, or rather to make you into what you are meant to become. Don't wish the obstacle away. Don't resent it. Study it, use it, turn it into fuel. History is full of those who transformed hardship into greatness. Think of those who faced rejection, illness, betrayal, defeat, and turned those trials into clarity, power, and purpose. They weren't lucky. They were prepared. They chose to see the wall not as a barrier, but as a direction. Sometimes, the obstacle forces you to take a new path, one you never would have chosen, but one that reveals more of who you are. Other times, it asks you to push harder than you ever thought possible. And sometimes it simply teaches you how to wait, how to sit with discomfort without losing your mind. Every version of the obstacle has its value. And when you get through it, when you climb it, break it down, or even learn to live peacefully beside it, you'll look back and see clearly, the obstacle didn't stop you. It shaped you. So whatever you're facing now, don't shrink. Don't run. Stand tall. The obstacle is your training ground. It is not in the way. It is the way. Meet it with patience. Meet it with strength. And meet it with the quiet confidence that on the other side of this, you will not be the same. You will be wiser, tougher, clearer, better, not in spite of the obstacle, but because of it.